Last time on Hobbit Ball Z, Smaug's coming to fuck the town!
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Nerds Doing Nerd Things, where we're finishing the Hobbit trilogy with the Battle of the Five Armies. And with me on today's show, as always, when it comes to Lord of the Rings, it is the Dwarf Fortress, four-guy hard axe.
40.
You have 40 hard axes.
Yeah.
That can be a porn name.
Yeah.
And Mr. Target Bullseye himself.
Because now I have a feeling that Rob's going to make a D&D character called 40 Hard Axes, and he's basically going to have a bag of holding, and in it will be 40 hand axes that he can just keep taking out and throwing at people.
Kind of like Hawkeye.
Improvised thrown weapon.
Well, that's Will. Gonna take it to our resident Hobbit of the group now. Hi, Susie. Have you been having a bad day like I have?
It started off bad, went semi-good, and then ended on a sour note. So we're
But no day can be bad with Kamigawa.
But now we're doing
You're gonna get
this.
smacked from all those packs in about 5 seconds.
She's about to give all those packs to me.
You know what? Actually, yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna smack them across the face with them and then give them to you.
I fucking bought them. Fuck you. These are mine.
Really, I bought them.
All right. So, like pretty much what has happened with every episode of pretty much everything we've had, Susie came up with a bunch of questions, and she's gone.
I'm right here. Sorry, I got distracted. Give me a second.
You were just yelling at him about getting distracted, but back on topic here, because we have a limited amount of time. And I'm a very limited amount of time. Susie made wonderful questions. I count 15. There'll probably be a lot more than that, knowing her. Because something will just pop up in somebody's brain and be like, screw that question. Here's this one. So let's start with question 1 as she's doing other stuff.
I got distracted. I'm sorry.
Put it down.
Weren't you just yelling at him?
I yell at him all the time.
It can wait until after a podcast, Susie.
You want to get smacked? Last episode, Smaug was coming to rain fire and death on Lake Town. What are your thoughts on this battle? Well, what are your thoughts on this battle?
I should have brought my marshmallows and weenies.
I mean, it really is a battle. It's just like a
Battle for survival.
Pretty much the destruction of Smaug on that town, and then you have Bard pretty much be like, I would have saved my people after pretty much choking out the mayor, getting out of his cell.
Yeah, it was more like a 1v1, Bard versus Smaug.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Toriel
The
and
kid
stuff
got an
were
assist.
trying to help, but
Yeah, the
they
kid
were
did get
more
an
trying to
assist.
just get an injured Killy out of, because Killy wasn't all 100% yet. They were just trying to make sure he got out.
Well, and Bart's kids.
Yeah, Bard's kids too.
His son with the big assist, like what Rob said.
Oh.
Oh man, how about that big ass black spear? What do they call that?
Black Arrow.
A black arrow. And
Mhm.
It looks like Smaug was already hit with something like that, just somewhere where it
So,
wasn't fatal.
In the original battle,
At
when
the
he came
Dale.
to go get the gold,
Mhm.
he got hit with one
Okay.
and knocked out a thing, and that's why part of the legend is that he had gotten damaged.
Should have used the health pack.
I don't know that his health pack would have prepared that.
But I really like how he hid the spear away from Smaug and literally used it as like I guess a slingshot right past his kid's head and right into, I guess that's where the heart is of a dragon. Right? Right into his
Yeah,
heart.
basically, it was in the left part of his chest.
Yeah.
If anything, it struck a very vital organ.
Yeah, because Smog went about 100 feet more and then down. Oh, and it's the best part of the beginning half of the movie. Mayor look up and realize
Dragon come down.
that reminds me of Uncharted, but that's for a different episode.
Actually, one of my questions on here was thoughts on the mayor.
He did. He did.
Oh, he did.
I think he got his comeuppance twice.
He did not make it. He did not make it.
He did not make it the first time, and then he didn't make it again. Was
that one? Yeah. And then the follow-up question I had to that was the thoughts on the weasel. Because that is what I refer to him through this whole question thing is thoughts on the weasel.
I hated him so much.
I don't freaking remember his name. All I know is he's a freaking weasel.
Grima Wormtongue does it better.
I hated him through all 3 movies.
Well, he only shows up in 2.
I thought he was in the first one.
No, because Lake Town doesn't even show up until the second one.
And yeah, basically like the 3/4 of the way through the second one.
Oh, well. Oh, yeah, when they're dumping the fish overboard. Yeah, he's a dick and a dick and a bigger dick.
God, it's Woody.
So what about you guys?
Yeah, I think that he played his role perfectly. God, I hate him too.
He's such a snippy little, like, literally, I was trying to think of something to compare him to. And all I'm thinking, okay, first of all, you have to understand that my brain is a giant marsh pit. Because now all I'm thinking about is, you know who he looks like? He looks like Peter Pettigrew.
A little bit. I can see it.
I mean,
can see it a little
I
bit.
can
And
see-
towards the end of the movie, I will make a comparison to Snape. Don't worry, I got you guys.
Great. It's exactly what we need.
I think the point where I really started to like hate him, be like, all right, this kid's a fucking scumbag, was when he freaking dressed up like the woman just so he didn't have to
That's at the
fight.
end of the movie.
Yeah, but I was reading the questions and I didn't see it on there, so we're talking about him, so I wanted to bring that up.
Well, that's my comparison to Snape, because if you remember in Prisoner of Azkaban,
Ridiculous!
Snape's wearing the grandma outfit. Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. There you go.
You've had a very long day.
I have had a very,
I can
very
tell.
long day. My day starts at 4:45 in the morning and doesn't end until 9. So
where we want to go from here after the despicable weasel guy? I'm going to
The
start calling him
villagers-
Peter Pettigrew.
the villagers seek help
we
from
lose
the
it?
dwarves. What are your thoughts on how Thorin has done promptly a 180?
He has what he wants and doesn't give a shit about anything else anymore.
He doesn't even have the Arkenstone.
But he knows where it is. He knows it's there. So he pretty much theoretically in his mind has everything.
Well, it's also a huge thing to like note of like how the how like dragons kind of work in the Lord of the Rings universe, because it wasn't the gold that made him go crazy. It was the dragon, because the dragon has the innate primal, and that kind of leaked into the treasure because he's been sleeping in it for hundreds of years.
Also, let's think about the Arkenstone and the original stories that we had heard from it. And before the dragon even showed up, all the greed and everything else was starting to occur then.
Mm-hmm.
So
Smaug just amplified that like 80-fold.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
In my circumstance, I could understand where Thorin was coming from. He was technically making those promises under duress.
Mhm.
He didn't have much of a choice, and he didn't really have what he needed to bargain with the people of Lake Town. I
Yeah.
mean, what was
He
he
was a
going to
big-
give?
He's a big freaking dragon. He can do whatever he wants.
Had he been thinking logically, he might have just said, okay, all the humans could just take the main lobby for a bit while you build up Lake Town or build up Dale again, and we'll be fine.
Sorry, I'm very sad. My experiment did not come true, and Will's gonna be mad because when he finds out what card I used for this, he pissed me.
Use the Duraludon.
No, I did not.
What'd you use?
I used this for oh.
Oh, so
What do you guys think about the fight at Dol Guldur?
That's 2 words, not 3.
Rob, you're gonna get us all killed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Considering the fact that the
I have a-
subtitles in the movie have it as 3 words, not 2. And I didn't read the book, and I only had one looking up device today, and I wasn't looking it up.
What is Dougal Door?
That's where
the necromancer is.
that's where Dumbledore
Oh,
went to
yeah.
face the necromancer.
Oh, where
Gandalf.
Count Douche Canoe, Hela, and Red
Yes.
Skull come to save better Dumbledore.
Yes.
Sauron, Galadriel, and comes to save
Galadriel.
Galadriel. Yeah, well, you guys keep saying their Marvel names.
I do not
So-
say their Marvel names.
So
And it
I'm
wasn't
fixing
Sauron.
this.
It was Saruman.
So, okay, I'm sorry, Rob. I was trying to fix a fucky.
Not sorry, Saruman.
To be fair, I still am technically right by calling them, because I am getting the people right.
I mean, yes, you are getting the right characters right.
While that fight was fantastic, Galadriel, my God, rolled like 5 d20s and did max damage.
Nat 20, Nat 20, Nat 20,
Yep.
Nat 20, Nat 20.
Yep. And you saw it big time.
Actually, I think she got a Nat 1 there, because doesn't she die there? Didn't she die?
No, she didn't die.
No, I thought
She
died.
lived, but she got hurt. She overexerted herself.
Yeah, so she rolled a 1 on the concentration check.
I am sorry for all the listeners out there. My dog is currently growling behind me because he has taken my husband's sandals and is attacking them.
I mean, they do probably stink.
Yeah, and then I took him back and I bonked him on the head with them. Don't touch my sandals. I will bonk you again. Naughty puppy. Okay, back
Yeah,
on
it's-
actual topic.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I enjoyed the fight. It explained how they're able to kill those ghost creatures because the weapons that they were using. I think you're gonna get pissed again, Will. Red Skull comes up behind one and just think, and it ends up like dying.
Elrond.
Elrond, thank you. But yeah, Galadriel is my favorite part of that because she's like, go back from where you came and just yeet.
I will tell you, AJ, that while Elrond did not have much of an appearance in this series, you're gonna want to learn his name because he is a lot in the next.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
I believe his full name is Elrond Half-Elven.
Something like that.
So he's half elf. But
No, I
Moving
don't.
along.
all right.
It's
I
fine.
apologize for one of these because my brain farted on his name. I did find it. I do know what his name is. But my brain farted when I was writing this question. Bilbo gives Thranduil and Gaston the Arkenstone as a bartering chip. What are your thoughts while all this was going down? And Gaston is actually Bard because I just do the actor.
Bilbo is actually, he has an affinity to all the dwarves now, and he wants what's best for them, even though it's kind of crossing Thorin.
And I'm going to add to that because it's not so much that he wants to cross Thorin. It's he sees what entering that mountain has done to Thorin.
Yeah, but by using
And
that
not
as
to
a
the other
bargaining chip
dwarves.
and giving it to Thranduil, you're pretty much crossing Thorn, but you're like, because he wants it, and you're like, take it,
Well,
use it.
part of it, I think, also is that because Bilbo sees he's traveled with Thorin for like a year,
Mhm.
for close to a year, like he kind of knows who Thorin is. The Thorin that we see in Battle of Five Armies is not the Thorin that we've all traveled with in
Yeah,
the last two movies. So, and I think that's what Bilbo sees. So he knows that if he gives them the bartering chip, then Thorin is more apt to, you know, go, I'm being an idiot,
yeah.
which he doesn't do because, you know, welcome to life. But Rob, you got anything to add?
Yeah, when I first saw that Bilbo giving him the Arkenstone, I was just like, oh, of course you would. Because there were moments like when Bilbo was sitting down, he took something out of his pocket, and Thorin saw that, and he's like, "What do you have there? What do you have there?" I thought it was the ring. He shows him the acorn he got from Bjorn's hut, and you get a moment of his humanity or dwarvishness shining back out, because the pureness of the Hobbit is bringing it out. It's like it's not a coin, it's not the ring, it's not anything of value to anyone but him.
Yeah.
And Bilbo sees the good in him shine through for a second as he sees what a hobbit sees as treasure.
Yeah.
But the moment they start walking past and the announcement that, oh, they're here for to bargain, the darkness, the light really shines off and the darkness comes back. And I think at that moment he was just like, I had to do this. I have to give it to him.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Rob, what have you done? Why'd you have to say the word bargain? Benedict Cumberbatch is in this movie.
Smaug, we've come to bargain.
Did I not make a funny?
You made it funny.
Well, it doesn't look like one.
No, Susie's deciding whether to laugh or smack you.
So why can't the answer just be both like it normally is?
It's because it probably is both at the end of the day.
Give me back. No, give me my die.
No, we have to roll for your humor. Oh no, it was a 5.
It's a roll down. Like it's a spin down. It's not going to work very well.
Right.
What do you how do you like Thorin's cousin? Is his cousin?
It's his cousin.
Okay. How do you like Thorin's cousin?
I was looking for the other dragons. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it to click. Come on, Will. It's one of your favorite movie franchises. Susie just got it.
What does How to Train Your Dragon have to do with anything?
Does Susie need to put 2 and 2 together for you?
I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay. Because the Thorin's cousin, isn't he the father in How You Train Your Dragon?
Yeah,
That's
is.
Gerard Butler?
Yeah, that's stoic.
No, that's Billy Connolly.
Because Stoic is Gerard Butler.
Hold on. To the Google.
Somebody continue about the cousin.
No, Dauber. I think
Rob.
he's Dauber.
Rob, talk about the cousin.
Have you all just considered for a moment just sodding off?
No.
Immediately loved that dwarf. That was it. Like Thranduil is the quintessential elf.
He is the quintessential dwarf.
Dane Ironhead or Ironfoot.
Mhm.
I think it's Ironfoot. Dane Ironfoot is the quintessential dwarf. and I loved him. There's a game on the PC in the original 360 Xbox called
Yep.
Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth 2, and in that you get to do a mission where you play with King Dane as a unit, and you fight for Dale,
Hey, Susie.
reenacting that battle. This battle.
Pretty sure he's the father in Brave, not.
He's Fergus. But he is also
So what? All red-headed, vaguely bearded.
I don't
But
see him
he
in
does
any
sound
How You
like
Train Your
people.
Dragon.
no,
Dwarves.
he's not. He's just Fergus, but he does sound an awful lot like Stoic.
Did he die? No, he's still alive. He just hasn't done anything since 2016.
He doesn't do a lot. If you look at his filmography, he really hasn't done a lot.
I remember him in House. I think he was in 1 or 2 episodes.
Mhm.
All right, now that we got that sorted out,
So what are your thoughts on his cousin?
I like his cousin.
I love his pig.
The warthog?
Excuse me, that is a warboard.
I was gonna call it Pumbaa.
I like his pig.
They call me Mr.
Mr.
Pig.
Pig.
I expected that quote from AJ, not from you.
But I thought he was cool. I kind of like how he came over the hill and we're like, we have the elves surrounded until the fight.
What is this next question? Jesus Christ, Susie.
So, according to Tolkienpedia, it's called Tolkienpedia. It's not actually Tolkienpedia. It's like Tolkien Society or something like that.
The Tolkien Society. You didn't read the afterword, did you?
Yes, I did, which is why I added the extra question. According to Tolkien Society, there are 5 armies. There's the wolves, dwarves, elves, goblins. I said orcs there too, and men. I personally don't think those are the 5 armies. I think there are more.
There are not.
The manly men.
What?
I personally think there's less. I don't even think there's 5.
It could be
I
argued that there's
count
4.
wolves as an army. I'm sorry.
There's-
There weren't.
Do they count dwarves twice?
No.
The 5 armies were men, elves, dwarves, the orcs of Dol Guldur, and the goblins of Gundabad.
So
And this is
The,
why I was
the
leading.
Eagles and Bjorn do not count as an army, they count as reinforcements of Gandalf, which falls under men.
Mhm.
See, that actually makes fucking
But
sense.
I had read that, and as I was typing the question, I was reading that afterward, and I was like, that makes much more sense than the way I was picturing it. Which is why I begged the question, like, what did you guys think the 5 armies were? Like, we know what the 5 armies were, but what were you thinking when you first saw this battle? Like,
I kind of only counted 4.
because when I watched this the first time, I thought it was
Ow, that was attached.
Thorin's army, his cousin's army, the elves, men, and then the orcs. So that was what I thought. It wasn't until I did research into it that I was like, oh, well, I feel dumb now.
Yeah, because the only weird thing about like them considering like the goblins and the orcs separate armies was they were all under the command of one person. So in Tenda County, wouldn't you still consider it one army at that point?
No, because Azog was the general commander of only one of the bad armies. His son was commanding the other.
Oh, I didn't actually realize that.
I didn't realize that either. God, thank we have Rob here. Rob, you're such a treasure to this show.
I know.
Still pissed off about Magic last night.
I know.
It's about Magic. You fucking won more games than all of us, you bitch.
I only won 2.
You're next to me. You don't need to yell.
All right, Susie. Next question. because then we get to talk about my favorite part of that whole fight.
What were your thoughts on the resulting battle? Preferably if you could give your favorite highlight or your favorite.
The dwarves holding the line and the elves. Da, 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 da.
Oh my god, it's my favorite too. Wait, isn't that the one I had to rewind for you because you missed it?
I've watched that like 10 times now.
Susie, we rewinded it like 3 times alone when we watched it just to be like, they really are jumping on their heads.
I watched that literally today from dropping off, parking my car at Waterbury Hospital to then returning back to my car after picking up. I was watching that whole fight.
And it goes to show the most solid ground you can use is a dwarf.
Yes.
Then why does
Again.
Susie fall over so much? No, she's a hobbit. Never mind.
I'm a hobbit, you jerk. 1, 2, I don't fall over nearly as often as some people.
Less
No, you're-
dirty than a dwarf.
Your fridge caught me the other night, so I didn't fall over.
I haven't fallen over in 2 years.
Yeah.
I haven't injured myself in like 2 years.
Shouldn't have said that.
No, I injured my ankle after I fell on my butt.
Yeah, but that was my favorite part. The hold the line. Here come the elves over the top.
But we weren't sure that they were going to come. They were like, getting ready. And then all of a sudden you see the elves come over.
Mm.
You're like, yes. Any other favorite highlights or points?
Yeah,
That's where
I
we
like.
the Snape dress.
I love the dwarves rallying and counterattacking just as the trolls were coming in. Because if they didn't do that, they would have been crushed. The
Yeah.
counterattack is what saved them.
yeah,
And this is why some people trash on like something like Game of Thrones or that battle in Mulan. This has actually very good tactics. One, you saw Azog on the top of the mountain with a horn and the flag machine.
Mhm.
And that flag machine was coordinating his entire battle because the horn sounding off tells the commanders, look at the flag. The flag will tell them what the commanders are supposed to be telling their drummers to drum out to coordinate their army.
It's how they used to do a lot of the war movements back in ancient times.
Yeah, they actually did it perfectly right. Whereas in like Game of Thrones, they don't do that.
Depending
don't-
on the fight.
Depending on the fight, but not really
Oh.
even then.
Yeah. AJ, what?
It's in bullshit chat. It's happening.
Okay.
But we'll continue with the
Okay.
next
Well,
question.
did you have a favorite highlight or
Oh.
did we cover it?
we covered it because mine's Rob's when Dane immediately sees it happening and instead of just like fucking off like he absolutely could have, he's like, nah, and puts him in front of the elves so that he can fight
Oh no, my rallying was when they were almost dead against the wall,
Oh.
and I think it's Thorin's company rushes out.
It's Thorin's company that rushes out and it reinvigorates all the dwarves.
Oh
Yeah, and then
I
the
like-
humans rally and the women rush out with their weapons.
oh sorry, I thought
Doubling
we
the
were talking
warriors.
about when Dane first intercepted them
Nah.
in the beginning. That's my favorite part because it showed that they could have just buzzed off and just let the elves and the men just worry about it on their own. But no, he just gets right in the way. He's like, we're fighting this.
Okay, so moving to Thorin then, because we covered a little bit of when Thorin joins the battle. I remember, I think Rob was watching it with us. Thorin overcoming his mental battle. And like watching the effects from the portrayal, what were your thoughts? Like, what emotions were you going through? Do you think that it was done well? Do you think it could have been better? Dead silence.
Sorry, I'm
Someone
dealing with
talk?
something.
I'm thinking.
Let him keep thinking.
There's smoke coming out of his ears. He's thinking so hard.
Oh,
No, I actually think it was perfect. I think they did it in the exact room they needed to do it in the room where they tried to coat Smaug in the gold.
I want to make a Hamilton joke. In the room where it happened.
I want to be in the room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened.
I need to stop listening to musicals with you in my car.
Because that was kind of like the aspect of everything. That's where Smaug broke out of the mountain to head towards Lake Town. That was where their like big counterattack happened, and the entire floor was fucking gold.
dude,
And the scene where he was just drowning in it.
I've never tripped so much balls before in my life, but I'm pretty sure that's what it would be like.
That was more trippy than the entire Doctor Strange movie. Because that movie was a fucking acid trip.
Doctor Strange, you and I sat next to each other and thought we were on acid.
You're right.
We didn't think we were on acid on this one, so
It was a beautiful, beautiful acid trip.
I mean, I thought I was on a little acid while we were watching Uncharted with how the camera movements and everything were getting
oh my
me
god,
sick.
but it was so good.
It was getting me sick.
It was so good.
I was literally okay.
Yeah, I love the giving us the scene where the dragon flies underneath him in the reflection of the gold,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
him
fr-
just as the voices come to a crescendo, just dead silence throws the crown. I was like, yeah.
I think them using no music when he did that, and you just heard the tink, tink, tink of it, like no music, no background sound, just that, for me, showed outside of his face that he was out of the headspace he was in. Like, there he goes, he's throwing it away.
Yeah.
It also goes to show the willpower of Thorin Oakenshield, because like breaking out of a dragon madness ain't easy shit to do.
So if there's a thorn oaken shield, is there a thorn pine and shield? A thorn and cherry shield?
What does the Thorin Pine Shield do? Wax Force?
That's the power of Panthal, baby. I had to fix my own lisp to do that lisp.
Just for that, I'm calling Disney and making sure that they delay Rewind until October.
Why does it matter? You would.
He's talking to me.
No, I'm talking to AJ.
Oh.
Why? It's just another roller coaster you won't go on because it goes backwards.
Wait, does it?
Uh-huh.
Fucker, I wanted to get on that and I won't get on it.
You shouldn't have said that. You should have let him get on
There's
it.
no
and then
loop de loop. All I said
realize.
was it goes backwards.
It just goes backwards. It's like Everest. Oh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Going on it. You're taking me up. Deal with it. You'll get on anything if your niece asks you.
If it has loops, absolutely fucking not.
I will 100%. I volunteer as tribute.
So I only have like 3 more questions that actually pertain to the movie.
Good soup.
What did you think about the final fight with Azog? So just a reminder that Philly and Killy go to scout, Bilbo comes to warn, Legolas and Toriel join the fight, and the death of Azog and Thorin. I did not particularly like how Philly dies. I was very upset.
Philly is the
younger.
not the one that's in love with the elf, right?
No, Killy is the one that's in love with the elf.
Yeah.
Philly is the one. I think Philly's older.
The way Philly dies. The way
Philly is only, yeah.
Ooh, the way he just literally becomes a kebab
Yeah.
and just gets thrown to the side afterwards.
Mm-hmm. That messes Killy up.
That messed me up.
Yeah, and he dies at his feet. Like if he was any closer, he would have gotten a little bit of red on him.
See, there's a thing when it comes to fighting, and these movies show it a lot. There's combat fighting, both people fighting to save their lives, and then there's just straight up, you're fucked. Get fucked.
Well,
There's
it doesn't help that the orcs were using magic. Like they weren't personally using magic, but they were definitely shielding.
Yeah, I saw Voldemort.
We all saw Voldemort.
We don't talk about Voldemort. We don't talk about Voldemort. But he was a douchebag,
Are you done?
No, probably not, because it was kind of good.
I have to cut that clip out now and post it somewhere because the fuck.
I very much was like, well, if that's not the way to kill somebody, because I don't know why I kind of moved it towards like Norse mythology, that if they don't die in battle, they don't die with honor, and that I don't think that was considered a battle. That was just a
Yeah, he was just executed.
yeah, pretty much.
I loved the fight though. There was such great choreography.
It was amazing choreography. But
Are you talking
There's so
between Thorin and
Thorin and Azog had great choreography. The only thing I hated, and I
the
understand
ice?
that Thorin died, but what pissed me off about that fight was Thorin. Why are you standing there? Leave. Leave. Why are you still standing there? Leave.
He had to go kill Azog.
He did kill Azog. Well, technically he threw Azog into the lake, but he still didn't leave. He just stood there. Instead of, leaving.
Listen.
Well, he had to confirm the kill. He didn't do that last time, and look what happened.
He stick around to confirm the kill and he died because of it.
Rule whatever number it was in Zombieland, double tap.
Double tap. He didn't double tap.
Don't stick around and find out.
I also like the fight with the fourth dwarf and Bilbo holding off the reinforcements from Dol Guldur. And Bilbo being a badass, instead of taking out the sword and fighting, just picking up loose stones and braining people with them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's that goes to show one of the Hobbit's essentially gifts. Every race has a gift, and it's weird for hobbits, one of their strange gifts is the ability to crouch down and pick up a loose stone. In the books, literally, that is one of their powers, is they have the ability to crouch down and pick up a stone no matter where they are.
Mhm.
There will always be a loose stone for them to pick up.
That's actually kind of awesome. The things I could do with that power.
You have that power. How many things have you thrown at us? You're looking around, here's something to throw at AJ, and you just find an empty bottle and chuck it at him.
To be fair, it has been returned many times.
I really am a hobbit. Okay, so moving along, we're gonna go on to the thoughts on that final scene between Tauriel and Thranduil. And your thoughts on that, and then we're gonna talk about Thranduil and Legolas. Who would like to start on the Tauriel and Thranduil?
I do.
You do, go.
It made me think that Thranduil wasn't as much of a douche as I thought. Still a douche.
It's Count Douche Canoe.
He's less of a douche. I cannot call him Count Douche Canoe anymore. like I could in the first two movies.
I think that was a very much change of heart for him. When she's grieving over Killy,
Yeah, Gilly.
Yeah.
and he goes, "That's because it was real." And she just looks at him and is like, "Why couldn't you be like this all the time?"
I love how her statement was, if this is what love is, I don't want to feel it. And I'm just like, you're making my heart break, because that's part of living, is being able to feel those emotions. Where are you being? Does anybody else have anything to add about Tariel and Thranduil?
Not really. I
Thranduil.
wasn't as invested in it, honestly.
Can we talk about what he says to Legolas?
Well, that's actually the next point. So yes, go ahead, go right ahead.
Oh, I think it sets up the Lord of the Rings movies, because doesn't he tell him to go look for?
Go to the
Can't think of the
north
name.
to find the Dunedain.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He specifically mentioned Strider by name, by Strider.
He's a man that goes by Strider. You'll have to learn his real name for yourself.
He does say he's the son of Eretha. As if that
No.
meant anything to anyone.
I don't think he actually says that.
Yes, he does.
He does? I
He
missed
does.
that. Because the most I've ever heard him say is that he goes by Strider. You'll have to find his real name out for himself, but he'd be a man to learn from. So,
And
but yeah,
I just want to throw this out here.
what he does, it sets up nicely for the next bit.
I never thought I really would have gotten into Lord of the Rings, because I was never wanting to watch it. I am very much addicted to it now. This is not good, Cat.
Welcome.
This is all your fault.
We're
feel-
not sorry.
I'm not sorry at all.
Lord of the Rings was our D&D gateway drug.
And I think there's a couple more questions based on not just this movie, but the culmination of all three. Am I right
Yes.
with that?
There are. But I actually have one more question about the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bilbo returns home to find his possessions up for auction. Why does it say positions? I put possessions. Okay, whatever. Apparently, I was drunk this morning when I was writing my questions.
I feel like
Still got those jello shots in you?
No.
Yeah, apparently.
What?
So he returns home to find his possessions up for auction. How would you have reacted? Do you think he reacted in a way that was according, or? And also, how did you like the fact that they auctioned up all those things because he was gone for over a year?
He was gone for 2 years.
That's right, it was 2 years. Yeah, he was gone for 2 years.
Which is about the amount of time you would assume that guy's probably dead, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And Bag End, if no one knows, Bag End is the second biggest privately owned place, third biggest privately owned place in the Shire. It is third only to the Green Dragon and the King of the Shire's castle.
Which is why all of his relatives wanted it.
Yeah, the Sackville Bagginses.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed.
So
I laughed about it all. Sorry, Rob. I thought you were
Yeah.
done.
I like
So
how you
he-
use his contracts as identification.
Yeah, so he has the biggest house, essentially, in Hobbiton and the Shire. He was rich before he became rich.
Kind of sad that we don't see any of the other dwarves after this.
You see,
Technically, you do. Technically, you do. We see Gloin again.
We do see Gloin. But we get to beat one of the kids. And that excites me. We get to meet one of the kids.
I can't remember his name, but the white beard one that like was really talking with Bilbo a lot. You see, isn't he in Riverdale when Frodo and them appear in the first one?
Rivendell, and yes.
No, Riverdale's that show Jessica watches with Zach and Cody.
Just Cody, no Zach.
Oh, I'd be happy I knew that far.
So what do you think, AJ?
What was the question again? Sorry.
Bilbo returning home and finding all his possessions up for auction.
Oh,
What do you think about
I
that?
said it was absolutely fucking hilarious. I honestly, if it was me, I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't be waiting 2 years. I'm pretty sure Paul would have my Xbox or probably my PlayStation. No, Will would probably take my Xbox just because Susie wants to play Halo and all that other stuff. And Paul would take my PlayStation 5.
As he points to his twin monitor PC setup.
I don't need no fucking Xbox. I
So
have
we
a
need to-
PC for that shit.
We need to picture the monitor stuff.
Yeah, I need a fucking display cable.
Oof.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until after I was setting it up. So in this movie, just in this movie, what is your favorite scene?
Hang on, before we get to that, can we bring it back a little?
Okay.
What about the Bilbo leaving Erebor? The final goodbye.
Oh,
I got sad.
No. No. I do like that he told the dwarves that they're welcome anytime,
The tea time.
which was just kind of nice.
There was so much character development between all the freaking dwarves. It was insane.
I also really adored the fact that he was telling oh my god, I can't think of his name, the white beard one. That he's like, just tell everybody I said goodbye, and I don't want any tearful farewells, and all of them just come out of the woodwork, and they're just like, "Oh, we're
Like,
already
tell them
here."
yourself.
Tell them yourself.
So you want to know what that kind of reminded me of? And I'm probably in the blue here. The way all those dwarves looked while Bilbo was leaving is the same look I remember the dwarves having at Snow White's glass casket when Prince Charming showed up. All like sad and everything.
I can see it, but also you're already all in blue.
I get it. Your background's blue. Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's okay, AJ. I understand, and that's what matters right now.
All right, so now we can move on to favorite scene.
Okay, now favorite scene. I think for me, my favorite scene is actually Thorin apologizing to Bilbo.
I wish it happened sooner, but I understand the gravitas that it had at that exact moment, but I fucking wish it happened sooner.
Yeah, but I think that was really, Bilbo stuck with Thorin through to the end. Like, it didn't matter how much of a dick Thorin was to Bilbo. Bilbo stuck to Thorin with Thorin till the end. And that apology was just a nice little cherry on top. Anybody else?
Well, mine was 2 because my first one technically isn't a scene. Technically, it's the credits
Oh,
with Pippin, I think, or Mary singing the last goodbye. Because when I first heard him singing that, I teared up.
I don't know which one it is. I think it's Pippin.
I think it is Pippin.
I think it's
But yeah,
Pippin.
because him singing that, this movie technically comes last in production order.
Yes.
So when I saw this was going to be the last time we ever saw these characters. And I honestly teared up because this was it. This was the last Lord of the Rings thing, technically, that we could do with these characters. Because we had the Silmarillion, but it's not going to be Legolas. The only people we can bring in are going to be Legolas, Elrond, and the wizards. That's really it. And maybe we can get Arwen.
They got Frodo in there.
They are gonna have Frodo.
They had Frodo in there. Frodo is at the start of the trilogy. Because they show that Bilbo is writing this while he's waiting for his 111th birthday party.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
And then Gandalf shows up.
but as they do the last goodbye, this would be the last time these characters would ever appear in anything because they're not in the Silmarillion. I think Merry and Pippin are as they travel around with the Red Book. I think, but I don't remember. But that's the last thing we ever get in the Silmarillion.
I was gonna say, doesn't the Silmarillion take place before the Hobbit?
It is technically the creation story and the post Fourth Age.
Okay, no, because I was reading a synopsis on Amazon about it, and it sounds like it's there used to be different dwarf kingdoms.
It's the second age, I believe they're going into.
Okay.
The age that we are in now was the third age.
Yeah.
And there will be 4 ages in total to the Lord of the Rings storyline. I do believe the Silmarillion covers age 1 and 2. I think.
That I don't know. I know it covers 2. I don't know if it covers 1.
It does cover the creation myth, which is age 1.
But I'm looking forward, like, as much as everyone's been kind of not looking forward to the Silmarillion, I'm looking forward to how they pull it off. Because it's going to be interesting to see if they can manage it, at least as well as.
Anyway, my other favorite scene that actually had people in it, not just stills as a man sang and made me cry, was the mostly the war itself battle, but one scene in particular was the rallying of the dwarves.
Oh, okay.
when they committed their full counterattack, because then you see Thorin and his 3 dwarves running up the mountain with the mountain goats, and I'm like, where did they get those?
They're dwarves.
I got goats.
I got goats.
Trading post. That's how they got the goats from.
They are merchants.
They're 0-1 goats.
They are not 0-1 goats. I'm pretty sure one of them headbutted an orc off the side of the mountain.
The Wilhelm scream.
Listen, it dealt combat damage. It had the special text on it. It deals damage equal to its toughness. So there you go. It did 1 damage.
When this deals combat damage, add toughness and power together.
Well, what's your favorite scene?
Honey goats.
Blood Honey, favorite scene.
Smell getting burked.
Smell getting. Wait, hold on. My husband, who is Dragon Fanatic, who has been on Smaug's side for all of Desolation of Smaug, is now Smaug getting murked is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who are you and what did you do with my husband?
He's right here. And listen, Smaug went to go burn innocents. That's when Smaug got the no.
Oh, is that our line? Not trying to kill Bilbo and the dwarf. No, killing innocents.
Yeah.
That's our line. That's the line we're not going to cross. Like
With everything we've done on this show, that's
Bilbo
our
wasn't
line.
innocent.
No. Hey, he was trying to steal from Smaug. Smaug stole. But Smaug stole from them. Yeah, well, Smaug's a dragon, so he's in the right.
Dobby deserved it.
Oh my god, AJ, I have a story to tell you later.
Okay.
I literally just
how
jumped
about
in my
you, AJ?
freaking chair.
AJ, favorite scene? I want to open Kamigawa.
My favorite scene of the whole movie, as I'm waiting, so Will has to wait and open his cards. All right, I'm just being a dick
Start
now.
racking backs. I'll do it.
My favorite scene was honestly the end of the fight between Azog and Thorin, and then Thorin pretty much saying, well, I've been a dick. Please forgive me, as he, just dies. And then from pretty much there through his funeral into the end of the movie. it definitely makes me really interested to sit down and watch a 5-hour Lord of the Rings movie in a couple weeks.
We're doing the extended edition.
I know we are. But
AJ,
what?
AJ picked. I gave you 2 options. You picked extended, so that's what we're doing.
Well, it means we get to hang out longer. Of course I'm going to pick the
Exactly.
extended one.
They are long ass movies.
I might not be able to sit on my ass the whole time, but we'll make it
There
work.
are intermission breaks.
Hey, we can
Are
watch
there
one.
We
really?
have to schedule ourselves.
Yeah, we had to schedule them ourselves, but don't worry, I got you covered. I got you.
We can watch one on Saturday.
I got you. I got your back. Okay.
Now, are we watching the extended edition or the extended edition?
Yes.
Wait, there was a
Whatever I
double
bought on
extended.
Amazon.
What?
Literally whatever I bought on Amazon.
Oh, it's the one on Amazon.
Pretty much.
I got the extended edition on Amazon, so it's whatever what I bought on Amazon.
If you
I
give
think it is
Rob
the
the
double
ru-
extended.
if you give Rob the runtime, he can tell you. But let's not do that. Let's
Favorite character?
Bilbo.
Bilbo.
Because
I wanted to see if you stuck with Bilbo through all 3. That's why I asked every single movie.
absolutely. While Thorin thought he was doing the wrong thing, in my mind he was still doing the right thing. Even to his friends. Is it Blu-ray?
No, that's the original Fellowship of the Ring DVD.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That is the original.
Why do I feel like people just bought that just to use that as a D&D shield?
I mean, they could have. I have
I lost the booklet. I'm so sad.
I have ones that somebody gave me that I believe are extended edition. I have to go look at them, but they're upstairs and I'm down here. So
Because this has technically the double extended editions. Because there are extended edition scenes and then there are extra scenes on top of that count as deleted scenes.
oh. No. I don't know. I was in the mood to watch Lord of the Rings, so I got the extended edition. But we're on favorite character, Rob. AJ and Will both said Bilbo.
My favorite character in this. That's a hard question. I want to go with Bilbo for one scene. And that scene is him sitting down right next to Gandalf as Gandalf is cleaning out his pipe.
At the end of the
Just
movie?
him with a face of pure battle fatigue, just post-traumatic stress disorder, sitting down, looking to Gandalf, and then just starting to laugh as the relief finally hits.
3 hours and 48 minutes.
So
Damn.
Bilbo was definitely my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah. Susie, what was yours? Who was yours?
It was mine.
Yes.
Tariel. I mean, I could have stuck with Bilbo through the whole thing, but Tariel,
I could see why.
made a hard decision to not follow her king.
Mhm.
And then she had to deal with all these emotions, stuff she's not used to experiencing and everything else. And it was amazing to watch that character development through the whole movie. You watched her become a stronger person, and then even as she became a stronger person, she deferred to her king and went, why does it hurt so much? So I don't know. I think she was my favorite.
It takes a
my
strong
answer will change constantly in the next 3 movies. So
it takes a strong person to think a different way. It takes an extraordinarily strong person to actually act on those
yeah.
thoughts. Especially when everybody else is going one way, you would go the opposite way.
She really helped with Legolas's character development too. So there's that. Which movie out of this trilogy did you like more?
Desolation of Smaug.
Okay, that's Will.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons.
This
Mine is
one-
Battle of Five Armies for me.
That's
because
this one's my favorite. Battle of Five Armies.
That was a lot tougher than I was anticipating after watching the first and second one because I was like, oh, Smog, 100%. And then we sat down and watched Battle of Five Armies, and then I went home and then sat down and watched Battle of Five Armies, and I'm like, I wish it was just one fucking movie.
There's a lot of people who wish it was one movie,
Hey, you were gonna swear too.
but at the same time, I'm glad it was 3 different movies because then I was able to really absorb the information a little bit better.
Yeah.
It wasn't all being thrown at me because I feel like it would have been an exceptionally long movie.
And
they
most
would have
important,
cut out more.
most
than
importantly
what
for
they
me, most importantly for me, it would have drastically cut down the amount of time for the Battle of Five Armies itself, because there was a lot going on in that battle.
No,
that they had to go
Rob, I think by one gigantic movie, I mean literally the runtime of the first movie, the runtime of the second movie, the runtime of the third movie. Just
At that point, just make it a mini series.
Yeah, actually, make it a mini series because I want my pee breaks.
Like what they're doing with the new Age of. I don't even know what the hell it's called. I'm
Now
just
that
gonna
I
keep
think
calling
of
it
it-
Cimmerillion.
now that I think of it, Rob, you might be the best one for me to ask this. 2 picks up where 2 ends, 3 picks up, like right there. It's literally a seamless transition.
Yeah.
Does 1 and 2 do that as well? I don't think so.
Kind of. They're
There's a little bit of a time gap, but not much.
there's like maybe a few minutes or an hour at most, because you had to factor in the time it took for them to fix Thorin up and then get down that little outlook they were on.
So, Rob, the Amazon series that they're making for the Cimmerillion is called The Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, that's what it is.
I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so my last question. Is this more geared towards AJ, and I apologize for that. But the rest of us can kind of answer too. Is there something or someone that you would love to see come back in the Lord of the Rings movies? Or is there something that something that happened that we would love to see reminisced, brought back? I'm not sure words here, but
So,
just
I'm gonna
something to kind of more connect the Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings.
I'm hoping, and this is just me hoping, that I know Lord of the Rings came out before The Hobbit, but I hope that that in the Lord of the Rings they mention the stuff that happens throughout the Hobbits. Like it's all one universe. Hell, I'll even take, I can't even think of, Thorin, like them mentioning Thorin again. I don't know if that's where you were going with your question.
So that's kind of where I was going with my question. So kind of like the scene with the trolls that we see at the beginning of during Unexpected Journey. Something like that Bilbo had on his quest. Would you like to see that in the Lord of the Rings? Something that Bilbo saw on his journey, we also see on Frodo's journey.
Yeah.
Or a character that Bilbo meets, we'd also like to see on Frodo's journey or see more of.
Radagast?
Ooh, the brown.
Because I really liked him, and I really liked his very, very fast rabbits. They're not catching me.
These are Restabout rabbits.
I'd like to see them try.
I don't know why. I just, out of all the, I think he's a wizard, right?
He's a wizard.
All the wizards.
Radagast Brown.
I feel like he has the most charisma out of all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say that.
And I really liked his character, even though he had bird shit on his head the whole time.
Yeah, you pointed that out every time.
I really wouldn't even call him a wizard. I call him more of a druid.
We
than
have
a wizard,
we have a
but-
special guest on our show. His name is Rusty. He keeps making an appearance.
Rusty was absolutely fantastic yesterday. He let me pet him. He jumped on my lap. it was like, hello, I've seen you enough times. I can trust you.
But that was all for my questions.
Which means we're done.
Yeah, holy cow, we ran through this in like an hour. This is great. So, Rob,
Anyone have anything to add?
yeah, before we get to closings, Rob, do you have anything to add?
This kind of ties into the ending portion, but you can find me on spacebattles.com as Retro Warrior, writing in the universe of Warhammer Fantasy, which is kind of like Lord of the Rings, except more extreme,
Warhammer.
way more extreme.
Universe of Warhammer's fucked.
Yeah, so you have your elves, you have your dwarves, you have your men, you have your orcs and
And
goblins.
they're all horrifically racist.
They are all horrifically racist, and they are all horrifically overpowered, except towards each other.
Yup.
That better? My
And
dog.
I'm currently writing an arc called Vermintide Rising, in which the rat people are trying to wage a 1,000,000-man siege on one magical city.
All right. I'm really excited to do these Lord of the Rings movies. I really don't care how long they are because it's not like we haven't done a 5-hour movie on the podcast before,
That's
have.
true.
We have indeed.
That's very true.
which I'm perfectly okay with because the Snyder cut
Wait.
is drastically better than,
Snyder Cut.
the theatrical cut, the extended cut.
Every other cut.
So,
So-
where behind you?
What's behind me?
You can find me on the plane of Kamigawa. Sorry, I have to keep making fun of this guy's video because he kept saying Kamigawa as Kamigawa. And
Okay.
I just had to keep making fun of it.
So you want to know why he probably did it, Will? Because now it's stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Mm,
Wah.
You can
My-
find me adoring my dog because my dog missed me today. He was left alone for way too long.
My dog,
Right now,
is,
he's trying to get my food that's sitting on my desk.
my
but,
dog is good boy too. My dog
you-
has been a good boy
you
for
can
a
find
long
me
time.
Loving on my puppy. Loving on my puppy. AJ, where can people find you?
I don't know. Go ask Rob Paulson because he knows where it all is.
Hey, you guys, this is 625 here from Lilo and Stitch. Some people think of me as AJ Coppola. I don't care. Just follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Twitch at NDTA Jalistar15, and Xbox and PSN at AJ All-Star 15. I should have said AJ All-Star, but I'm a sandwich maker. What the hell do I know? Do yourself a favor. Go get yourself a hot fudge marshmallow tuna fish and ham sandwich. All right? Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
But I do have a couple things to add. You can also find me on the Extreme Sim TV YouTube page, broadcasting iRacing races, just like the T-shirt I'm wearing, the Extreme Forces Racing League. Thank you, Dean, for sending it to me. Shirt's actually very comfy.
I want one.
Sorry,
I'm jealous. It's fine.
Well, where can they go get one?
I will put the link in this episode's bio.
Thank you.
All right, peace out, everybody.
Check us out next week for Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, speaking of Fellowship of the Ring, soon we will have videos on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, Susie's on her computer.
Shabba-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yes.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.